So dear friends and dear Talmidim, once again I want to share with you a thought on the weekly Parsha, Parshat Vayigash. So the story of Yosef and his brothers comes to a dramatic climax in this week's Parsha, when Yosef finally after so many trials and tribulations and pain, finally could no longer stand in hiding. V'lo yochel Yosef lehis apik l'chol hanitzov ha'melo v'yiten es koiloi b'vechi, and he breaks down crying. And he tells his brothers, Ani Yosef ha'oid avichai. When did that happen? When Judah stands before Yosef, and he musters the courage to speak up, and he says, no, we must be Binyamin back. Ki avdecha orav esanar. I bear direct responsibility. I promised my father. Yeshivnu avdecho tachas anar. And I am willing to serve you as an eved, as a slave. Let him go. That is when Yosef finally says, enough is enough. Why? I think this is such a profound thought. We don't judge the office Akdoshim. Whatever they did is above and beyond the realm of our understanding. But Chazal did teach us. Yes, we analyze and we judge just to the extent to learn derech chayim v'toichachas musar. Why is Yosef putting his brothers through all this pain, through all this suffering? Why is he tormenting them again and again and again? When he first sees them, why doesn't he simply say, I'm Yosef, bring your father, everything is okay, everything will be okay? I think this is a profound thought. In last week's Parshat Miketz, in a moment of private reflection, when Yosef's brothers are sitting in a dungeon, in custody in this foreign land, and they make a cheshbon nefesh. Vayoimru ish el ochiv, aval hashemem anachanu alochinu, asher ro'inu betzoras nafshoi beschanenu yoleinu, velo shamanu al kein bo oleinu atzoro azois. They say one to another, we are to blame. We brought this upon ourselves. We saw his pain. He cried out to us, and we didn't listen. And l'chayr, it's a tema, it's a pillar. Is that the crime? The crime was they threw him into the pit, a pit full of serpents and snakes and scorpions. And then when they took him out, they sold him as a slave. That was their sin. Yes, that was the crime. But what was the origin of this crime? What was the basis? Ro'inu b'tzoras nafshoi, b'schanenu yoleinu, v'lo shamanu. He's our brother. And he was crying and begging. And our hearts turned to stone, and we closed our ears. Lo shamanu, we didn't listen. We refused to hear his cries and his pleas. That is aim kol chatos. Yosef knows he needs to fix this, not for his brother's sake, but for the future of Klal Yisrael. I explained many times what happens with the Avos and the Shvotim happens with us. That is our story, in a way. The Ari HaKodesh explains and reveals Asora Haruge Malchus, thousands of years later, were a kapora for the Chet of Mechilas Yosef. There were 10 brothers, part of this conspiracy, part of this plot. 10 greatest Tanoim paid the price. Yosef knows this is something that needs to be fixed. and it is his responsibility to fix it. For the coming generations, for the future of Klal Yisrael, it's not something personal between him and his brothers. What needs to be fixed? That needs to be fixed. We need to care, we need to listen, we need to hear. We need to hear and feel each other's pain. Yosef is waiting. He's waiting, and he is tormented even more than his brothers are. But he knows the time has not yet come. It is only when Yehuda says, Ki avdechu ora v'sanar, I took upon myself responsibility. He's my brother, and I won't let him fail. I took upon myself personal liability, principality for my father Yaakov, and I will not go back without him. It is not only that I took responsibility, I am willing to bear the consequences. Yeshevnu avdechu tachas anar. Let him go, and I personally will pay the price. He's the culprit. The gavil was found in his bag. But we are arevim zelazeh. Yeshevnu avdechu tachas anar. It is in that moment that Yosef realizes and understands it's over. They once again feel each other. They once again bear responsibility for each other. And they are willing to pay the ultimate price to save and salvage each other. That is the tikkun. That is rectifying the chet of Mechiras Yosef. And in that moment, lo yochel Yosef lehisapek v'yiten es koiloi bevechi. Why is this relevant? We are once again in the midst of a surge of corona. I said a month ago, and so many times throughout this pandemic, I said, I wish I would be wrong. I wish people would laugh at me and say that Weiss was hysterical. He said silly things. I wish at least once I would be wrong, and I'm sad to be right. A month ago I said when people took off their masks and we thought it's over. And I was afraid it's not over. It's going to be back with a vengeance, and it is back with a vengeance. Once again, there's a surge and a spike in cases. And my dear friends, people are dying. Every day people are dying. Every Jewish life is precious. Every Jewish neshama is precious. But it is part of human nature. When it is those closest to us that we see and we feel. So yes, some Tayari Eden died this week. One was 59 and one was 70 and one was even younger. And some very choshev people are desperately, critically ill, intubated, on respirators. And we have thousands of new cases every day. And we're not listening. We're not listening. We're not listening, we're not hearing, and many of us don't seem to care. And that is something which is totally unacceptable. That's the story of Yosef and his brothers. Ashemim anachnu, asher ro'inu b'tzoras nafshei, v'schananu yaleinu. So open your eyes and open your ears. And more important, open your hearts to those nebechtike families who lost loved ones. Person I knew, a Beyana Chosid, passed away at age 59. He was a cancer patient, but he was curable. He had leukemia. He got COVID, and in 1 week he passed away. I saw his daughter just a month ago. She was staying with my family for Shabbos, and she came to ask a brocha. She's a kala, getting married in a month, and her father will not be there because he got corona. And he didn't get it from the Malachim, from the Malachei Elyon. He got it from someone. And probably that someone should bear responsibility. This Kala will walk to her chuppah without her father. That is only one case that I happen to know. People are dying. Families are shattered and broken. We're not listening. So this week, Baruch Hashem, we started vaccinating. And I said a shir last week, and I made it very clear people should vaccinate. It's hard to please everyone. Some were angry, why do I say we need to vaccinate? And others came with tinus, why didn't they say it's a halachic obligation to vaccinate? So the reason I didn't say it's a chiyuv, because I am a Shulchan Aruch Yid. I say what I think, and I don't say just what I want to say. I didn't say it's a chiyuv because I don't think we could, by halachic definition, say it's a chiyuv. If a person wants to hide behind his mask and lock himself up at home, not to get infected, not to infect others, he's entitled to do so. I know that a mask is not foolproof and neither is social distancing. I know that as well as anyone else. But I still cannot say it's a chiyuv. But I'm astounded. We're from Jews. We only do what's a chiyuv. Chiyuv or not, it is what we need to do. It is what we should do. We need to hear the pain and the anguish and the cries of Amchu Beis Yisrael, of those families that are losing loved ones. So we should vaccinate, and we should distance, and we should wear masks till we vaccinate. We need to hear the pain of others. We need to care, and we need to do everything within our power to take this away. Shakadosh Baruch Hu yaracham aleinu. We should feel each other. We should care for each other. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu should care for us. Midah keneged midah. We should be zoicha b'kora b'yameinu to be as Moshiach tzedkeinu. Binyan beis hamikdash b'maheru v'yameinu amen. Have a beautiful, wonderful Shabbos. Good Shabbos to everyone.